All right. My name is Kate with Scott Leroy Marketing. Again, today we're going over campaigns in Command. With that, we're going to take a look at creating an email campaign. I generally like to cover how to create one from scratch, as well as how to create one using one of the provided templates through Command. So we'll kind of take a look at both of those. Everyone will be muted for the class. That just allows us to get through all of the content. But if you have questions as we're going through, feel free to drop those in the chat. I will monitor that and we will have time for questions at the end of the class as well. So first thing we want to do is go to Command. So to get to Command, you're going to go to agent.kw.com and hit Enter. Once you're on Command, you'll log in with those username and passwords that you have saved somewhere. Your username is not going to be case sensitive, so capitals are not required, but your password is very particular. So capitals where they're needed, special characters, and if you're copying pasting, just make sure there's no spaces before or after your username, because it will also flag it as an incorrect password. Now, once we log into Command, I do like to point out everyone's Command home screen can look slightly different. You do have some customization with this home screen as to what displays first. So if yours looks a little bit different, not a big deal. You can certainly customize yours if you would like to, but it does have a little bit of customization there. First thing we want to look at for today's class, we're going to be creating email designs. Now with that, there are certain things that pull into those designs automatically. And to make sure those things are up to date and accurate, we want to take a look at the marketing profile in Command. Not to be confused with my profile, the marketing profile is going to be under Settings. And from there, you want to go to Connect Settings and the marketing profile. Now, in my opinion, this is the most important marketing or the most important profile in Command. The reason for that is that this one feeds most of the information to your external platforms. So it feeds information over to your KW website, to your KW consumer app, as well as some of the marketing pieces that we create in Command. Specifically for today's class, it is going to pull some of this information, so we want to make sure that it is up to date. So very first thing we want to check is that our marketing profile is turned on. So you'll have a little green light here if yours is turned on. If not, you can just toggle that off and on by hitting that little button. If it's off and you're turning it on, you do have to acknowledge, and then it will turn all of that on. Now, the next thing that is required is going to be your headshot. Now, this headshot is a required field. You do have to have one included to complete this. It does have a red asterisk. The recommended size for your headshot is a 360 by 360 pixel. The reason for that is that if it's not one of those sizes, in some cases, your headshot will look distorted, stretched out. Your head might be cut off, things like that. So we do recommend making sure this one is sized at that 360 by 360. If you need any help with resizing that, you can reach out to our support team at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We're happy to help you guys resize those and even update them through your profiles if you'd like. Now, the next one that's super important for today's class is the team logo. Now, even if you're not on a team, you may be asking, why would I want a logo there? This logo will pull over to some of our email designs today. So if you don't have a logo there, that is going to appear as though it is a broken image. So having a logo there of some sort is going to be super important for email campaigns. Now, a couple of options if you're not on a team. If you've branded yourself as a solo agent, you can certainly add your logo here. You can add your KW logo. Another option that we've seen is people adding their headshot to appear there as well. And later when we're in our email design, I will show you specifically where this logo pulls and why some people decide to use their headshot there as well. But definitely make sure you have something there. Next, you're going to want to make sure your details are covered. So first and last name. License information is another one that is going to be very important. That is not a required field. For certain marketing and email designs, it will pull that license number. So if you don't have it, you may see an error when creating your email design. If you have a title, slogan, things like that, those aren't going to pull over necessarily. But this one, like I said, this one will, and so will that team logo. So super important. Next is going to be the bio. So it is a required field. You do need to make sure you have one. Phone numbers are also required, mobile and office. The office number is a required field. You cannot remove it. This is due to most compliance. It is generally required to have that. So they do require the office. Email. Website's another important one, specifically for email designs. In some templates, it does pull that over. So having your website link there is going to be important. And you do want that to be the full URL. If you're using your KW site, don't include a www. It will cause your site to error. So keep that in mind. Next is your market center information. So their logo, market center information as far as address, phone number, all of that good stuff. You will want to make sure you have your market center specific logo here. If you're not sure what your market center logo is, you can click this little hyperlink for KW Connect. And from there, you can go down and find your market center, preview that, make sure it's the correct logo. And then if you were to download that, it will give you a folder full of all of your various logos. To where you can pull those in to your various designs. So let me just show you what that looks like. Now we have all of the various colors and formats of the black and white logo. We also have the various colors and formats for the red and white and gray logo. So you'll want to add one of those to your marketing profile. Again, all of these images in your marketing profile, they do recommend 360 by 360. However, in most cases, the Market Center logo will adjust and resize accordingly. It is one of the few that will. But occasionally we do see it cause an error in the email designs. So if you're seeing that, you may want to just resize it to the 360 by 360. Again, if you do need help with that, you can email our support team. We're happy to help. Next is going to be any compliance that may be required by your local board and things like that, as well as legal footer links, all of that you can include, any social media links, Google Analytics, and then we want to just make sure we save any changes that we had. Now, we did have a few people joining late, so if you miss anything, we are just covering the marketing profile. It is important for the email designs to make sure this is up to date because much of this information is going to pull into your email designs. So just check that out if you missed it. But let's go ahead and move into our actual design. So for email campaigns, we're going to first start in the designs section of Command. So you can hover over these to find out what they are, or if you're not sure, you can expand that bar and click on designs that way. Now, this is another place that your command may look a little bit different than mine. These are designs I've previously created, and they're in my command account so that I can make changes, reuse, edit, things like that. To get started, though, we're going to go ahead and do create. And for today's class, we're going to focus on email designs. Now, email designs is one of the few out of these that is going to have their own templates. So you won't be able to find these in the normal template library. Now, here are those KWRI provided templates. They did recently do an update to these. So if you had an old template that you were using, you may see that it is no longer editable. Let me show you what that looks like just in case. if you see an email design that is like one of these, they say not editable. These are the old templates that they offered and they're no longer available. So if you're wanting to use one like that, you probably just need to recreate the design from scratch. But we're going to go back to create an email. And again, these are the various templates that they offer for many different things. So you can kind of look through these and see which ones you like. But again, all of these can be customized even once you're in them. So you just kind of pick one. We're going to create a new template because the first thing we're going to do is create one from scratch. So I'm going to create new template. And yes, this will be recorded and I will drop the YouTube link in the chat again later so that you guys can access that recording once it's uploaded. Now, the next thing we do is we're going to start building out our email design. So we have the option to title it here. I'm just going to do 9/12 for today's date. You'll also notice up here we have a couple of icons. We have a desktop icon, a tablet icon, and a mobile device. That is just going to allow us to see what our email design will look like on those various platforms. Unfortunately, there's no way to edit it to be specific for an email, for a phone versus a tablet or a computer. So when those adjustments are happening, if you're not a fan of it, there's no way to manually go in and change them. So just keep that in mind as well. Over here, we have the view components. We have the preview, which we'll take a look at in a second. We have undo and we have redo. Up here in the top right, we have options. That's going to be preview, send a test email, and download the template. We also have save, save and close, and the X. And then we have blocks and background. Now, if you have been in designs for a long time for email campaigns, this section right here for blocks, this is brand new. So this is new over the last couple of weeks, maybe about 2 months tops. They gave us some more options for customization and how to edit these to best suit whatever needs you might be trying to create. So you now have some layout options. You have the option for a 1 column. You have 2 columns. You can do 3. You can do a 3-7. And you can also include a divider. Now, as you can see, I'm just dragging and dropping these, and you'll see that there's a little green line wherever I'm putting those to kind of identify where it's going to land. The divider will also show that. You can see that it's going to put it wherever that is. It can also do for just one of the columns, or you can do for the full thing. And the divider is just basically a line separating that. You can then adjust it based on height, width, the line color, if you want it to be a certain color. We're feeling a little fall. Let's do orange. This is going to change how wide it is. So you can make that a thicker line or a smaller line, depending what you want it to look like. You can also change it over here by percentage or pixels. So if you wanted to do percentage and you want to do 50, you could do that. Next thing, again, you can also do, if you have a specific color, you also have the option to use a dropper. So if you're using a specific image and you want to pull that color in, you can use that dropper to do so by hovering over whatever the item is. So if we want to grab this blue, we could do that. Change it blue. We can then change the padding. This is going to basically be the border around it. And then we can also change the position of that. So left, right, center. Once we're done, we just hit that arrow, go back. My divider is still there. If I need to move it, I certainly can by dragging and dropping. That is all of our layout pieces. You can also come in and edit these specific little layout sections if you want to have a border. You can do the dropper again. It will create a border around it or background color, either one. Border we can do here. Just make it a little bit obnoxious so we can see it really good. There we go. Just kind of showing you the various options there. We'll turn this back to white. We don't want it to be too crazy. So all of those columns, all of those sections, you could do the same thing. You can have a border, a background color, any of that stuff can be adjusted by clicking on each of the items. You can also move them with the arrows, duplicate, delete. But moving along, I'm going to delete some of these because the columns kind of just are a lot sometimes. So as you can see, as I'm deleting one column, it's just expanding the other column. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of those for now. And what we're going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is drag in this legal header. So we're going to drag this and drop this up at the top. Now, as you can see, it looks like nothing is there. However, you can't click on this and edit it. But if we hit this preview option, you'll notice that it's pulling that information from my marketing profile. So it's pulling my Market Center logo. This would be your Market Center specific logo. It's pulling my photo, my agent name, my agent phone number, and my agent email. And again, I can view those on the different platforms. It's going to adjust accordingly. Again, looks a little strange sometimes on the mobile. It's just the way that it converts to where they can see everything. The next thing I like to do is grab the legal footer. So I'm going to pop that down too. It's going to put it at the bottom. Now, again, you're going to see the information looks broken. It looks like it's not plugging anything in. Same thing. If you go ahead and hit that preview, you'll notice it's pulling everything here. So it has my Market Center logo again. It has the Market Center information. And then over here, it has my information. Now this logo here, this red and white KW, this is the team logo from my marketing profile. So this is where I said one of those things you can do as an option is to put your headshot. The reason that it works great for this is because it's also putting it with your information over here on the right. However, if you're on a team, you would probably want to keep your team logo and things like that. We do get questions on the address populating twice. Unfortunately, this pulls from the marketing profile. There is only one office address location there, so it is going to populate that information twice. There's no adjustment for that at this time. There is designs for flyers and marketing. However, the email designs would most likely not be what you want to use. You would probably want to check out our print marketing for those specific pieces of marketing. However, command designs can be used. You're welcome. Moving along, we're just going to go through all of these various pieces for our create our own design, and then we'll take a look at those templates. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab some text. We're going to drop that in our column here. As you can see, it put it right in that little box, and I can go ahead and start editing that text over here. So if we want to create like a newsletter, we'll just put fall newsletter. We can then highlight this. We can change our font based on any of these. We'll grab this one and change the size of that. We can put it to the right, put it in the center, any of that. We can bold, italic, underline. You can change the color. We got some fun colors going on now. There's also the option to add in the little bullets. You have a numerical indents, things like that, emojis. You can add those things as well, which I believe is new. I don't think they used to have emojis in here. You can also adjust, again, the width, the padding around that. You can apply another border if you wanted to. As you can see, it's putting a border within my border, which I'm going to take off. But all of that customization is there. We can go ahead and hit done. We'll go ahead and one more text box. We're going to add that below that blue line. And we're just going to say happy fall. And then we're going to use one of these merge fields. So as you can see, there is a drop down right here. These are merge fields. So there is ones for agent. It's going to pull in any of your agent information. All of this pulls from your marketing profile. You also have the option to pull in market center information from your marketing profile. If you need to pull in that legal footer in your marketing profile, you can pull that in as well. You also have the option for contacts. So first name, last name, email, phone, birthday, anniversary, and that is going to be the end for that. For this example, I'm going to do the contact first name. Now, it's super important that you don't type this out. Some people will try to type out this merge field. It's not going to work if you do it that way, so it's best to use the drop down. Once I have that there, I want to go ahead and hit done. I want to show you guys how to check and make sure this is working. So once you have the contact merge field, if you hit the little preview and we go back to our preview, you'll see it still says contact first name. However, we have a new drop down up here that we didn't have before. We have search contacts. We can search our contacts and plug in their name, and it's going to populate there. We have a lot of people who try to do this on a test email. When you're sending yourself a test email through this, you're only including an email address. So it's not associating that test email with any specific contact. So when that test email comes to your inbox, it is going to appear exactly as it appears here. It's not going to populate a contact name because it's not associating any contact name with that email. So keep that in mind. The best way to test to make sure it's working is to do it through here or to physically send the email to yourself, just regular. Moving along though, we'll go ahead and grab an image. We'll drop that below. We're just going to grab one here, or we can add an image. Let's just find a fall image in my other screen to pull in. This one looks pretty. No, it didn't work. 1 second. First one, I need to grab one quickly for class. None of them are working. Let's try this one. I don't know if that one's JPEG. There we go. Okay, so I just dragged it and dropped it over. I have my photo down here. I can also, of course, browse my computer by clicking on that link. Once I have my photo uploaded, I want to click on it. It's going to have the green box around it now, greenish blue. And then I can hit save and it will pull that photo in for me. Now, once I have that photo there, I can adjust it if I want to. You'll see I have all of the options over here. I can also make it to where if they click on that photo within my email, it sends them to a link. We'll just do web address. I will just grab the Scott Leroy YouTube. We'll upload that. You do need to make sure it's the full URL, but then if they were to click on that photo within my email, it would redirect them to my website or wherever you want them to go to. We can change the width. Oops, that is too much. Make it smaller if we want to. However you want that to be on here. However big or small you would like that to be. I'm going to put it back to 100. You can also, again, add the padding around it. That's just basically a border. If we add this, it's going to apply that at the top. You can see it's adding space. And then it will adjust the right and the left accordingly based on the percent. You can also, again, left, right, center, border, if you want to add a border. And that's actually curving it. I'm sorry. If you can see that. Whoops. It's curving the photo. So some people will like that. Totally up to you. Once you're done, your photo is how you want it. If you picked the wrong photo, you can of course hit replace. It will allow you to select a different one. But once we're done, we can go ahead and go back. Now next is the button option. So if we put that right below our photo, it's basically a button they just click on. So let's say that you're having an event for clients, you want them to RSVP, or you want them to check out a listing, something like that. You can put a button there that they can just click on. You can change what it says, click here. You can apply your link wherever you want it to take them. You can do the button width, fill container. That will make it go all the way across. You can also do fit. You can change the color. Again, we can use that little dropper, grab one of these colors. If we want to change the font of that, I know it was a little hard on the eyes in my opinion, so we'll go a different color. You can change the text color. Again, the border around it, you can also add a border around it. This padding is like spacing, not a border. I should clear that up a little. As you can see, when I did it around the photo, it creates space. Once our button is good though, and we like how it is, we can go ahead and move on to our next item. Now, the next item that we have, since we already did the header and the footer, that would be our listing block. So we'll just drop that here. And as you can see, that gives you a specific set of information. You have photo, address, city, state, amount, or listing price, and then bed, bath, square foot. Now, once you use the listing box, you'll notice we have a new option for select listing. And then you have some options when you're doing this. Now you can do all listings, my listings. You can search by address, MLS number, and KWS ID. I'm just going to search a property here. We'll just do 123 Main Street and see what comes up. We do recommend, if you're looking for your specific listings, use that MLS number. It's going to be much quicker. I'll go ahead and just grab this. Once I find my property, as you can see, it's giving me all of the listing photos, listing information, everything like that. Now I have the option to pick a photo. Oops. Scrolling a little slow here. So we'll just grab that front one. We're going to hit select. Now, as you can see, it plugged in all of the other information for me as well. I do have the ability to edit that and change that if I want to. I can also link it to my website if I have an open house sign-in sheet that's specifically for that listing, or a landing page, whatever it may be. I can certainly add that URL and link it directly to that photo. Now, again, I can change the font if I want to change how it looks. Up to you. Text color, you can change all of that. Position. If you want to do a vertical one versus horizontal, it will adjust that. And you can add as many listing blocks as you want. So if you're sending out a newsletter and you want to highlight all of your active listings, you can add 2, 3, 4, whatever you want. It is going to require you to put in the listing for you to save that. So I'm going to delete it. I do want to mention, if you want to create your own with a bigger photo like this, you can also select a listing by clicking replace image, and you can do listing here. And it will give you the same function to search for that listing. Oops, 123 Main Street. And if I wanted to do it that way, I could as well. And I don't see that listing pulling up, so we'll just grab a different one. But I could do a bigger photo there. These, unfortunately, is not super customizable with the size of the photo. So this is your alternate option, kind of creating your own. Gonna do undo. Nope, not gonna let me. All right. Anyways, moving along to our next one is the event block. So another option, if you do have an open house coming up, or if you have a client event coming up, maybe you're doing a pumpkin patch day for your clients, you can certainly create an event here. So let's see, I can save this photo. And pull it in. We're going to click on our photo and see if it will let me pull this one in. I don't think it's right. There we go. Drag in our pumpkin photo. Let's say we're doing a client event, we're having a pumpkin patch day. We can put in our information here for the event day. Let's just do October 2nd. I don't know what day that is. At 1 p.m. It updates right here. Again, you can change all of the same things. You can include those merge fields. And we can go ahead down to our, oh, I cannot type. Change that text, everything like that can still be adjusted. You can include details, and as you can see, it still has a view button basically. So you can have them RSVP, or if you want to send them to a different website, whatever you want, you can have that there. If you have a link for additional details for your event, you can include that there as well. Next is video. We'll go ahead and drop that here. Now, one thing with the video, it does have to be a public facing video. So it's going to need to be on something like YouTube where you can grab the full URL and add that and where everybody can access it. So we'll just go ahead and grab this one for this video.
Well, my name is
Oops. Stop that. Now we're going to post our URL here. And then we can, of course, grab a image for that, a little thumbnail. So I'm going to grab, I'm actually just going to grab this old one here and we'll plug that in. Now I have a thumbnail for my video. When this goes out in an email, they'll be able to play that video and watch it. I can add the alt text. I can change the width. All of that good stuff can still be adjusted as well. Again, public facing video. You can't just record a video on your phone and add that here. It would need to be added to a platform where it could be public. Now, the last thing we have is the Market Snap. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Now, this has neighborhood trends, it has a photo, and then it has some statistics. Now, when you're doing this, unfortunately, this specific thing does not allow you to customize it a lot, but you can change what you want it called. Let's go ahead and find a zip code first. I like to grab this one on here, plug that in, and then we get to pick our neighborhood that we want to highlight. So I'm just going to grab one. Now you'll see once I do that, it updates the photo, it plugs in all of the information. Again, these statistics cannot be manually edited. There's no way to do that here. However, if you're looking to create a Market Snap, there is an option for that in Designs where you can create your own and add it here. So you can certainly customize one yourself if you want to include it instead. Then we can come up here and say Downtown South. Neighborhood. Again, we can change all of this. It will allow us to change all of this as well. We can change the text, font, everything. So the only thing you can't adjust is those specific statistics that are populating. Once we're done though, if you don't like the stats, you can always pick a different neighborhood nearby, whatever you want to do. So now we've used all of these different options. We can go ahead and preview. Now again, not the prettiest email because I'm just showing you guys all of the various features and ways to customize this. Make sure when you're creating one, you have a purpose and a plan and it kind of just looks like it. This looks like it's thrown together. You don't want that. But again, it just allows us to see everything. Before we move to the next part, I'm just going to take a quick look at the questions in the chat. Rebecca, if they unsubscribed, it would depend how they unsubscribe. So there are two options when unsubscribing. You can unsubscribe from this email or you can unsubscribe from all. If they did all, it won't allow you to send them any in the future. And it will mark them as unsubscribed. So you don't have to worry about sending someone that's already unsubscribed, but it does depend if they did all marketing or just that specific email. Hope that answers your question. The stats, yes, Cindy. So for the stats, all we did was grab the Market Snap right here, pulled that into our email, and then it allows us to plug in a zip code. I think I still have that one. Select the neighborhood we would like to highlight, and then it will plug in all of that information. So as you can see, this one pulls the neighborhood snapshot. all of the statistics, and I can rename it right here, and then do some other customization. If we do a preview and the phone shows much larger. So you're referring to if you're looking at this one here, right? So any adjustments would need to be made to the entire design. As you can see, this email doesn't translate well to a phone. It cuts kind of some of those images off because they are so large. There's no way for me to manually edit each piece just for a phone. So the only way to make adjustments would be to adjust the entire design, so that it appears differently on the phone. I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know. So if we want to do a newsletter for a specific zip code from database, should I create a zip code tag? If you're wanting to send any group of people an email at any certain time, I would recommend having a tag set for whatever that is. Whether it's a zip code or you want to send out something for buyers, past clients, and you just want to send them to them. Anything that you want to isolate and send emails or things like that, you'll want to have a tag for. It's just a great way to categorize those people and only send that group of people information. Moving along though, let's keep going. And then if there are more questions, we will come back to those. I am done creating my design. The next thing we want to do is put it into an email campaign. So I'm going to save and close. And we're going to head over to campaigns. And it looks a little bit like a megaphone. From there, we want to go to emails. And from here, you'll see we have our email campaign dashboard. So we have the title of the email campaigns that we've previously sent. We have the status of them, whether they were mailed, sent, scheduled, etc. Dates that they were sent, how many they were sent to, opens, clicks, the goal for the email. And then we have 3 little dots where we can duplicate or archive that. Now, if I come down to an older one, when I used to send these all the time, you'll notice that I've cleared out my database, so I can't see the specific statistics, but you'll notice that I have delivered, opens, clicked, unsubscribes, not sent, and not opened. And it's going to give me the name, the email, the phone number, everything from their contact as to who opened this, didn't open this, unsubscribed, etc. So it's a great way to see if what you're sending is being valued or if they're just kind of ignoring it, things like that. I used to be in an office. This is a great way to see if my agents were checking my emails. Moving along, let's go back if it lets me. It's not going anywhere, so. Sometimes you just gotta give it a good refresh. Back to emails. So from here, before we create our email, we want to do email lists. So we want to make sure we have our list set for whoever we want to send this to. You can create a new list or edit old lists. I'm going to go ahead and create new. Now, as you can see, I have a tag that I use for all of mine. As you can see, it's cartoons. So I can filter to that tag, find all of my cartoon people, and then I can select all. Now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will show you show more if you have more than what is available right here. I would recommend loading everyone you want to select before you hit select all. And then we're going to name this. One thing I like to mention here, if you're creating an email list based on a tag and you're adding new contacts to your database with that tag, it is not going to manually update your email list. You will need to come in each time and add those new people to your email list. So you will either want to create a new one and delete the old one, or you will just want to go in and edit that and add your new contacts with that tag. They will show as not checked, so they won't be checked off if they are new to that tag and not on the list. But again, if you're adding new contacts with that tag, it's not going to update the list. You have to do that yourself. Moving along, our list is ready to go. Now I'm creating a command email list. There is MailChimp as well. we're not doing MailChimp today, so just command mail. The next thing I'm going to do is create my campaign. And this is an email. That's going to allow me to title that. I get to select my goal. So what is the purpose of this email? Am I advertising a listing, attracting listings, attracting talent? Is it just brand awareness, event awareness, attracting buyers, or is it just other? I'm creating a newsletter, so I'm going to go with other. It's just kind of to inform people about all things. We're going to create. And now I'm brought into my email campaign. So I have, again, the title. This is just for me internally. No one's going to see that. I have the account that is being used. I have my send to. So this is where I pick my email list. I can also create or edit here. We just find that you get less arrows if you create it first. The send from and the reply to email. So when they reply to my emails, this is where they will go to. And then I can put a subject for the email. Whatever you want it to be. And then I get to select my design. This is where I can find my previous email designs. I'm going to go with the one we just made today. It's going to allow me to preview that. If I need to make any last minute additional changes, I can certainly do that. And then I can go ahead and hit save and close. And I will then have my preview over here on the right-hand side. I can also still update. I can then schedule this or send it right now. So I can schedule it to go at a later time. I also have the actions over here to send a test email. We'll go ahead and do that. Just going to send it to myself so you guys can see it. And then I am going to go ahead and send this as well. You'll see that it says processing. It's got all of that information here. It will start to populate that information. I do like to mention it usually will show processing for 24 hours before it physically sends and starts to populate some of that information. I'm just going to pull up my email really quickly so we can take a look at what that looks like in my actual email. So over here, this is my test. So this is the test email that I sent out, which is why it's not plugging in a contact name. But I can see that I am able to click on the links. They're all working. I have my video. I have the link to the YouTube. Any of those links that I added are working. So I can check out all of that. If I click on these, I can zoom in. Last thing I like to mention, there is an unsubscribe option. However, the only way to view the unsubscribe is when the email is physically sent to the contact. So you won't see that when you're just sending a test email. I'm gonna refresh this. Actually, I'm gonna show this one because the official one came through. And now you have the option to see that unsubscribe. So I physically sent this to myself so you could see what that looks like. It came on the same email thread as the test just because it is the same email essentially. But now I have that unsubscribe option down here. So you guys don't have to manually add that. It will automatically do that for you. Checking the questions. See, so if I want to do a newsletter for a specific zip code from database, should I read that one already. Should be good to go. How do I select the listing? Cindy, if you could let me know, are you talking about for the email design, the image, the listing block? Which part are you trying to select the listing for? And I can go back to that. Gabriella, for the create email campaign, you'll want to come into email. Or I'm sorry, you'll want to come into campaigns. So if we come to the campaign dashboard, you should have a create campaign option up here and then do email. On some computers, it will have a plus sign in the bottom right that is in that same color of blue-green. for you to create new. If you're not seeing that, email our support team and we can take a look. Perfect. It kind of depends on the computer you're on, if it has the create or the plus sign. Perfect. Okay. Before we run out of time, I want to quickly go back and take a look at the templates, and then we'll have a few minutes for questions. So if we come back to designs and we go to create, back to email. Now you'll notice here again, we have a bunch of different ones. So you have to decide which one you want to use, which one works the best for what you're creating it for. Let's just take a look at this open house one. Say you have an open house coming up, you want to create one. This is where you could do it. So this is one of those that I told you, if you don't have your agent license number, phone number, website in your marketing profile, you're probably going to see an error. The reason for that is this template pulls that information specifically from your marketing profile. So if we click on that in preview, you'll see it's pulling, license number, phone number, email, or I'm sorry, website. It's pulling that as well as my designation directly from my marketing profile. So if you are ever getting an error when you're trying to do this and it's saying it's missing one of those, that would be why. And I might be able to really quickly show you what that looks like, so you know what to look out for. Let's just remove this. So now if we go down, it's not pulling a license number. Let's go ahead and just quickly throw in a listing photo. 1, 2, 3. Name. We'll just grab this one since it's the first one to show picture. Pulled in all of the other information for me already. I can add some more photos. Search. Of course, it doesn't pull that same one. That's okay. We're just going to delete those for this then. And then if we do save, will it give me the error? Yes. Okay. So if you see an error like this, agent license number failed, edit your marketing profile. If I come in and just add that license number back, it should let me continue. So we get that error a lot from agents. They're running into that. It already recognized that it was there and let me go ahead and finish. So has everything there, pulls all of that information. Again, team logo, you want to make sure all of that's plugged in. These are super simple because like I said, if you're creating one specifically for this, you just want to edit the little bit of information you need to. So if we do September, let's see, what is this weekend? 14th. If any of that needs to be adjusted, if we want to edit where this is going. So if we click view listing and we want it to take them to that address, we just want to make sure that is all added. So otherwise you don't want this view listing. You'd want to delete it. You want to redirect them somewhere. Save and close, but then we can send and all of that good stuff. So if you want to send it to specific people, things like that, you can go ahead and send that out. We have about 9 minutes. I'm going to check the chat and see if there are any new questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I have gone through all of the content, so I'm going to stop recording, but hang around if you have questions. And if you don't, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you learned something from today's class.